Hi, it's Julie, and I am here to start a cooking revolution. And I'm here with my friend Linda, who lives in Minneapolis. So we're going to cook together. Isn't that the beauty of technology? We can be halfway across the country and still cook together. So Linda got her CSA box actually last week. So we're kind of remiss on getting things cooked from it. So quickly, but we're doing it.
Hmm.
And we're going to be using some of her ingredients to make a spaghetti sauce. It's not your normal spaghetti sauce. It's a fresh tomato spaghetti sauce. So, Linda, do you want to tell us what ingredients that you're going to be using from your CSA box?
Well, sure. I mean, I think this is you're going to help me understand which ones we're using. This is part of the beauty
Yeah,
of this, Julie.
yeah.
But I let you know that I got a lot of tomatoes. We're in like kind of the maybe the end of tomato season here, perhaps. A lot of tomatoes. I have a yellow squash. I've got some fresh basil. Um, I have some beets. I have celery leaves and celery, and of course I have onions. So those were the basic things that you and I talked about. There are other things I'd love creatively to be able to use up here, but I think that might be another episode. What do you think, Julie?
Probably. Did you say you had a pepper? Did you say
I
that?
do have a pepper. I have a red bell pepper.
Okay, yeah, that's gonna go really nicely in your sauce.
Yay.
So, yeah, and I suggested that Linda put a grated beet in her sauce just to add a different flavor. Um, yeah, that's gonna look really nice. And you don't even have to peel them. You can just
Awesome.
grate them right as they are. Um, and I'm going to cook along with Linda. I don't have all the ingredients that she has. I don't have any beets at the moment. However, I have these lovely red carrots here. So
Oh, so cute.
yeah, they're tiny, but they're really pretty. You've seen the inside of a red carrot before, haven't you?
I have, but let's see the color of yours.
Yeah, they're orange and yellow. So
So pretty.
yeah. Um, And a lot of people call these purple carrots, but purple carrots actually are purple all the way through. So, in fact, the farmer was calling these purple carrots, but I didn't correct him. Um,
That was nice of you. Do they
so
taste any different, Julie?
I think they're a little bit sweeter, but that could just be my imagination. I think farm fresh carrots taste sweeter anyway, even if they're orange. So
Yeah,
than the ones that you get at the grocery store.
that makes
And I
sense.
wanted you to hold up your squash again. Did you know that's not just a regular squash? It's called a gold bar squash. Some people call
Gold.
it gold bar. Well, I'm one of those. Call it gold bar zucchini. Um,
Hmm.
but I'm not sure if it's a zucchini or a squash. So anyway, I think it is a zucchini. But when you cut it open, it's going to be really bright yellow on the inside. I have mine a little bit smaller. Yeah. So regular squash is white on the inside
Okay.
and
Oh.
more mushy. And
Hmm.
I think, and this is going to be more firm. So,
Yay. I'm excited. I'm
all
going to.
right. So, I may have to put my hat on because I still have not gotten a haircut and my hair keeps falling in my eyes.
Oh, I
And
was just thinking.
yeah, I'm gonna have to get a haircut soon. Hang on, I'm
I
gonna
was
put
just
my
thinking how
hat.
cute your hair looks. That's so funny.
Yeah, it's just it gets in my face and I don't like that. So yeah, I have to decide if I'm gonna get it cut. Sometimes I like it and sometimes I don't. So
Okay.
this is just not because I want to wear a hat. It's because I want to keep my hair out of my face and falling in the food.
And out of the
So
food.
anyway, here we go. So I have a pot of water boiling, and I'm gonna use some Bonza
Mm.
chickpea pasta.
Yeah.
And the shape is cavatappi. So that's one reason why I bought it, because sometimes the non-gluten pastas don't have any interesting shapes. They're just the regular old,
Tubes.
I don't know, regular
Yeah.
shapes.
Yeah.
So when I saw that it was cavatappi, I was like, oh, great, something different.
Woo-hoo.
So anyway, I'm going to be using that. And this sauce isn't going to be like your typical spaghetti sauce that cooks and cooks and cooks and, cooks down into this thick, rich sauce. This is going to be fresh. It's going to be a fresh vegetable, fresh tomato sauce. So you're still going to see everything. Everything's going to, it's not going to be this, can't think of the word that I want. This, what's the word I want, Linda?
Mush?
Yeah, like spaghetti sauce. You just imagine it being this red, thick sauce that you sauce with your, and you can't really see the onion in it. You can't really see any of the other ingredients,
All right.
But this is going to be, everything's going to be, it's going to cook down, but it's not going to be cooked and simmered. It's just going to be done in like 15 minutes. So, is that an onion?
This is an onion,
Yes.
and I have my garlic.
What do you think?
What do you think of this garlic clove?
Wow. I had one that was almost that size. And I decided not to use it. I thought, that's too much. I'm not making that much sauce.
Oh, boy. I don't know. I'm the girl who, if it calls for 1 clove of garlic, puts in 3.
Yeah, I usually use a lot of garlic, but I just didn't. I thought that was a lot. So I still have a fairly big, but
yeah.
Anyway, so let's get started. I've got an onion here too, and like I said, I'm not really making that much sauce, so I'm not sure if I'm even going to use that onion. I have a piece of red onion that has been in my refrigerator. If I don't need a whole onion, I just stick it in a container and put it in the refrigerator, and I just keep using off of it. I think this is like the 4th recipe that I've used this onion on.
How long will that keep, Julie?
If you have it in a container, if you just put it in the refrigerator like this, it gets dry. Yeah. So I have plastic containers, prefer not to, but if you just put it in that and put the lid on it, it'll keep for a week, maybe a week and a half. Wow. So, yeah.
Good idea.
That is a little tip. But this actually may not be enough because I do want a little bit more onion in that. So let's get started. Did you have any questions about anything before we start?
I think this onion is on the edge. I've got a problem. It's not that old, so
all your vegetables are on the edge, Linda.
This is real life. Okay, so here's the one end, and I took off this edge and look at this end.
Oh yeah.
So does that mean the whole thing? What's that?
Cut it in the middle and see how much of it's good, because maybe much it's bad.
It's not that old, so I'm a little bit surprised. But
sometimes if you get them at the grocery store, you don't know how long they've been around. Onions they're usually sitting around for a long time, so you don't really know. They could have been in the back storeroom for 6 months, a year.
Oh wow, seriously? Who would know, huh?
Yeah.
So I remember I shouldn't probably say this on live, but I'll say it anyway. I remember being in college and having a professor, who, he was, an expert in probably microbiology or something like that. And he made the point that if you have any kind of, turning of the fruit, a fruit, or that it permeates everything. Do you have any perspectives on that, Julie? I mean, I know certainly, as cultures, we would have used what we had, we would have found a way. And that's probably where sauces came from, whence cookie came too, but thoughts, experts, perspective?
I agree with that to a point. However, if it's a soft, like a tomato, I will
Mm-hmm.
cut the bad part off. And if the
Yep.
rest of it smells okay and
Mm-hmm.
tastes okay,
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and use it.
Okay.
Like an onion, I have quite frequently, or quite honestly, frequently, if there's like what you just showed, if you
Yeah.
cut it and some of the inner part, not the whole inner part is
Right.
bad, I just
Right.
will I'll take the part off that's good
Yeah.
and throw the bad part away.
That's what I'm doing here,
Especially,
and I'm actually able to have quite a bit of onion as a result.
yeah,
So.
and if you're gonna cook it, especially,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's okay.
I'm a little bit less upset because I have a compost bin, but I don't like wasting food. No
Yeah,
matter.
I'm the same. I don't have a compost, so I do have to put bad stuff in the trash, but I don't
Right.
want to waste it. I mean, I just
Yeah.
feel like it's so wasteful
Yeah.
to just throw food away because, I mean, it's even like cheese. You know, if you've ever had a piece of cheese that was moldy,
Right.
I just cut that part off.
Well, sure, that's part of the process,
I
right?
mean, cheese is mold anyway, so
Yeah,
it doesn't really
exactly.
matter.
So one of the things I really enjoy about cooking with you is I immediately go to, oh, how much onion? How much of this? Is this okay? I'm noticing this in my head. And because I've had the opportunity to cook with you before, I know that's not how you think. Do you want to say a little bit about your approach to this, Julie?
My approach to the sauce,
About cooking in
or
general with
the
ingredients and
just cooking in
creating,
general.
Yeah.
Cooking in general, sometimes I do start off with a recipe. Maybe it's a recipe of my own. Sometimes it's a recipe that I've seen. Oftentimes, if it's a recipe that I've seen, by the time I'm finished with it, it doesn't look anything like the recipe that I was looking at.
I noticed that with the chermoula we made together, which was
Yeah,
phenomenal. The way you interpreted it was great.
oh yeah, I've actually made it a couple of times since then too. So it's a really nice sauce. I just try to look at what's in season. I mean, I have to tell you that the way I used to cook is I would look at the grocery store ads. This was probably 15 years ago. I would look at the grocery store ads, see what was on sale. Then I would look through cookbooks to find recipes using those things, and that's what I
Right.
cooked.
Right.
That's when I followed a recipe. That was
Yeah.
before I cooked more intuitively, I guess.
Yeah. I love that you said that intuitively.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I would substitute, like if it said black beans and I had kidney beans, I would use kidney beans or things like that. But I rarely would stray too far from a recipe. But now the way I cook, I honestly can't plan anything because I need to see what's available.
Right.
So you can't plan. Maybe I'll have an idea in my head about some things, but I need to check my water. Let me turn that up because I want that to start boiling. Actually, I'm going to hang off on doing the pasta because we're not going to eat until probably like 6 o'clock, and it's just
Okay.
30. So I'm not going to do the pasta right now.
All right.
We'll get the whole idea of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what I do now is I go to the farmer's market.
Yeah.
And like you get a CSA box. So I would have, if I was getting a CSA box, I would have to wait and see what was in the box.
Yep.
And then decide from that what I'm going to cook. Typically, I have ideas. Maybe I want to go and look for a recipe to inspire me. Like was that last night? Last night, I wanted to cook green beans. I just didn't want to do them the same ways that I usually do, which are just either roasted in the oven or cooked in the skillet And I rarely just boil green beans. I
Mm.
usually do something a little more interesting to them. But I wanted
Yeah.
something different. So I went online and I found a recipe that had a miso garlic sauce
Oh,
with green beans cooked in a skillet. And I thought,
yummy.
well, that sounds good. So that's how I decide what I'm going to cook. Or if I want to make, let's say this week I want to have tacos.
Right?
All right, well, what ingredients do I have that I can put in tacos? And which beans do I want to use? Do I want to use pinto beans? Do I want to use black beans? Do I want to use
Wow.
peas? And then based on the beans that I use, I may have a different flavor profile or a different, maybe a different kind of sauce.
Right?
I'm gonna get my skillet started to heat because I'm gonna start cooking. There we go. There we go. So I have a skillet here with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. And I just turned on my burner to about medium.
Okay.
And I'm still getting used to having a gas stove. So
What do you have to have ready to go in that skillet when you turn it on? I've got my peppers, my onions, my garlic.
that's what you want. That's the first things that you want in there. And I don't have all of my peppers. I have these these cute little peppers like this.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna do the beets too.
And I've already chopped 3 of them. I had 4, and I'm going to go ahead. Oh, I was going to change my camera so you can see what I'm doing here.
That's right.
Let's see. Let's get a different view. So I've already done that, so you could see me chopping the onions. Okay.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. Because I was like, how should I be doing this? Like the part of me that's like, there's a right way to do this, and I don't know what it is.
I forgot that I had this because the last couple of times I couldn't use it. So, all right. So I've got the onion, I've got the garlic, and I've already got some of the peppers cut, but I'm going to cut this one. And because this one is, well, it'll still work. I'm just going to hold it upright and cut down the sides. And then the seeds should stay in the center of the pepper. And then I don't have to take all the seeds out and then lay it down and cut that last piece. So all the seeds are here. This one actually didn't have that many seeds. So that's going to go there. And then I'm just going to lay them flat and cut them into strips and then cut them into like chunks. You don't have to be exact, you know, you don't have to have perfect. I was watching, it's been a long time since I've seen a cooking show, but I was watching some cooking show and they were talking about how everything needed to just be perfect. And it's like, in whose world? And not mine. Mine is just like home style, I guess. So, all right, so there's that, my skillet, I can feel it, ready to go. I'm gonna just pick up my cutting board and put that in here. So you have all yours chopped, Linda?
Yeah, and I just grated my beets.
Oh yeah, so are you grating those with a hand grater? Like the?
No, I have this really amazing, I think this might be a mouli grater.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
You showed me that. I love that.
I love it. And I don't
Oh,
have
and
my
little beets are just beautiful. The zucchini I'm gonna chop.
Okay.
So the way that I'll do that next because the carrots will. Oh, I need to put those in. So here we go. Yeah, I love your mouli grater because
It's amazing.
I had one of those. I got rid of it.
Oh boy, I can't imagine life without it, frankly.
Yeah, I may have to look for one. You said you got yours at like a thrift shop or something?
I did. I got it at a thrift shop like 20 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I think my mom gave me mine probably like 30 plus years ago. So, and I used it all the time. But then I got a salad shooter. She gave me a salad shooter, which is this here. And it's a whole lot easier. So I thought, well, I have this. I don't need the mouli grater anymore. So got rid of that. All right, the way I'm going to do the zucchini. So you can see that it's also the bright yellow in the middle. So the reason I cut it in half this way is it's easier to cut lengthwise. So I'm going to cut it lengthwise in half and then quarter.
Okay.
And then the way I like to do it is just kind of do thick slices, not too thick, not too thin. So we have like quarter moon pieces. Need to cut that one more so you can see like that.
Nice.
And if you don't want to use the whole zucchini or the whole squash, you could just do half because that's a really big one.
It is a really big one, but I feel like I kind of want to use it. So
Then
if it's
it.
okay,
yeah, yeah. Then
I might need some more tomatoes is kind of what I'm feeling, right? So while I have these 5, tomatoes like this, I might add this extra heirloom and the smaller one along with my 1 onion, 1 huge clove of garlic, 1 large bell pepper, and 2 golden beets. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's going to be great. And you're going to you'll probably have enough sauce to last for a while.
A few meals.
Yeah, you might even want to put some in the freezer and pull it back out.
But the thing I'm learning from you, Julie, and I just have to say this for people watching, is that you have an amazing way. What I'm learning from you is the ways that things can hide in these dishes, Like I could make up the next thing of, whatever and add in some extra vegetables, or whatever feels intuitively correct, right?
Yeah, I mean, you don't usually find beets in a sauce, but you had some. I saw that you had some, and I thought, well, let's use them.
Why not, right?
Yeah. And one thing I had suggested to Linda is to either roast them or steam them so that they're cooked, which is okay that you didn't do it. That's fine.
I didn't do it. I forgot.
Yeah, that's fine. You can still do it. You can do it this way too. It still works. But what I was going to say, if you go ahead and steam, when I have beets, I usually just go ahead and roast them, unless I want to make chips out of them. I feel like I'm, maybe I'll go back to the other screen. Hang on.
No, I really appreciate seeing what you do. And I was actually thinking about your carrots and how I'm like, oh, wait, I don't have carrots. I'm like, wait, but your beets are a root vegetable and they're sweet.
Yeah.
And so it's these sensibilities. I keep saying to you, these sensibilities that you're helping me develop as I'm here with you. And I bet that's what other people are experiencing as well,
Yeah. Well, when I suggested that you use beets, I thought, oh, I don't have any beets, but I've got carrots.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use the carrots instead.
Beautiful.
So actually, the last thing that we're going to put in are the tomatoes because I don't want them to break down too much. So, but now I'm going to shred the carrots. And I don't have that nice little mouli grater. I have a really noisy salad shooter.
Julie, may I ask you a question? You were cooking something on the stove while you were doing that other prep. Were you taking that olive oil and sauteing the onions and the garlic?
I put the onion and garlic and bell pepper or the sweet peppers in. Okay. Yeah, I didn't tilt. I'm going to go ahead and put the other view. So hang on.
Over medium heat?
I have medium heat there. Okay. And here, I can move the camera so you can see. So you see right now it looks very yellow because I have that
Oh,
the yellow peppers, and then I have the
uh-huh.
squash in there. So it's very
Oh,
yellow. But
beautiful.
we're about to add some other color. I'm going to do this here. And I'm going to do the salad shooter. And I'm going to tell you a little story about it. I was doing an event at a farm, actually, and I forgot what we were making, but I was using the salad shooter. I think we were making some kind of a sandwich. And we were shredding like carrots and just zucchini and radishes. And so to let the kids at the event get to help, then I had this. I should have been a distributor for this because I had so many people ask me if I was selling it, where they could buy it. I was like, maybe next time I'm going to work out a deal with, what is this, Presto, and
Yeah.
sell their product. Anyway, I'm going to shred the carrots. I cut the tops off. Oh, these are yellow. I have some that are, no, it's just the bottom part are very yellow. I cut the tops off and then the tips because they have the stringy tips. Oh, you can't see here. Where am I? Here it is. They have stringy, these are the root ends. So I don't want that in there. So I'm just going to do this. This is a little noisy. All right. And you notice I didn't peel these carrots because they're pretty fresh. I don't know when they were picked, but there's really no need to peel them. Plus, if I peeled them, then I lose all that pretty red color.
And you lose nutrients, a lot of the
Yes,
nutrients of,
that's right. A lot of the nutrients of most vegetables and fruits are in the peels. So try to utilize the peels when you can. When I see a recipe that says to peel zucchini, I'm like, why? Even peeled tomatoes. Why do you want to do that? So anyway, peeling and seeding tomatoes, I think, are two of the most useless activities, wasteful activities too. So anyway, so here I've got the carrots. And you've got your beets already grated. I would put those in too so that they can start to soften.
Yeah, right now I'm cooking my onions and garlic for just a few minutes here.
Okay. So when you put the bell pepper in,
You want me to add those now too?
You could put your beets in at the same time.
Okay. For some reason, I always think they should go in later because then they don't get mushy, but they're more substantive than I think, huh?
Well, they're still firm. So, and the total cooking time for the sauce is probably only going to be 15 minutes or so anyway.
Okay, so how long do you want me to cook this onion, garlic, pepper mixture? How long?
5 minutes, just until it starts to soften.
Okay.
It doesn't need to cook too long. All right. Then I'm going to get started on the tomatoes. I had 4 of these little, I keep trying to show you on this camera, 4 of these little tomatoes.
They're beautiful.
This really isn't enough tomatoes for the sauce. I've actually made spaghetti sauces or pasta sauces with no tomatoes in it whatsoever. It's been mostly just vegetables and greens. And I add like vegetable stock or something to give it some substance, something to hold on to the pasta. So what I'm going to do, I've got some tomato paste here. I made a sauce a few nights ago. I made a barbecued baked beans, and this is just canned paste, canned tomato paste. So I'm just going to take some of this and put it in, here we go. Put it in this, probably don't need all of it. I'm going to
All
add
right,
that.
so I need some paste, huh?
So you don't have to do this. You have a lot of tomatoes, so you don't need to do this. This is just how I'm going to fill out my sauce because I don't have that much tomato. So if I was cooking the pasta right now, actually if I was cooking regular pasta with gluten, I would use some of the pasta water in my sauce. I mean, you can still do it with gluten-free as well, but it's not going to have the same binding capacity, I guess, as, I mean, maybe the chickpea pasta, because chickpeas have that magic aquafaba. So they have that magic property of being able to bind things. So anyway, I lost track of. So I'm just going to use regular water in this, and I'm just going to run some there.
Sweet.
That's a little more than a half a cup. If I had tomato sauce or canned tomatoes, I wouldn't have to dilute it, but I can't just put the paste in there because it's too thick. I need liquid to kind of thin the sauce out a little bit, or thin the paste out. Okay, so I'm just going to let this sit for a little bit over here, and I'm going to continue chopping these tomatoes. So I'm just going to cut the top part off. And, again, I really don't like to waste anything that is edible. So I cut like the edges off of this piece here. And now I'm just going to cut these into a rough chop. I'm getting more tomatoes today. I get a little farm bag, I guess, of 5 items. And sometimes they have add-ons, and they had tomatoes as an add-on. So I'm getting more of those, but that doesn't come until 4. So still a little bit early. That's okay. I'll use them for something else. All right, cut that piece off. Here we go. And then chop this one. All right. And I should probably move this out of the way. Like, why is my cutting board so small? Because I had the salad shooter thing on there.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go.
We're just roughly cutting these tomatoes. Yes,
just rough. I don't think you have to do, you could even just quarter them and put them in. My husband,
I'm cutting mine randomly. Like, I'm really liking what you're doing, just to like see what happens sort of feeling, you know? It feels really good, Julie. I bet the kids love cooking with you.
I had never had any kind of spaghetti sauce in this way. And growing up, I guess my mom probably just used canned tomatoes. I really don't remember what she did. And she did a long cooking sauce with meat in it. But my husband grew up in South America, and his mom always made tomato spaghetti sauces with fresh tomatoes. So he cooked the spaghetti sauces for a long time when we first got married, because he preferred them that way. He preferred the sauce that way. So that was fine with me. Sure. So I guess that's where this started, the using the tomatoes in this way. But I mean, now it's kind of naturally grown into using more vegetables. And he always put carrots and celery and bay leaves in his spaghetti sauce, because that's how he grew up with it. So that's what he did. So I don't do it that way exactly. Although every now and then I'll say, can you make spaghetti? And let him make it his way. So just for something different. But I see spaghetti sauce as a way to incorporate as many vegetables as you want. There's really no reason to, here, I'm gonna turn that. Oops, too far. There you go. So now we've got red and yellow. And then I'm going to put basil in here too. And you know, I find any excuse to put greens in everything. But I don't really have any greens. I've got some spinach, but I don't want to use it in this, although it would be great in this. But if I use it in this, then I'm not going to have any for tomorrow morning. So so I'm not going to use any, I'm not going to add any extra greens, but I'm going to put some basil in.
So Julie, I got a question. What's your
Yes.
secret for using basil? Like, I got this beautiful basil and I'm just pulling it off the stem, you know, but
Yeah.
there's also that fine membrane that goes down the center of each leaf. Do you cut that out or you just use the whole thing?
I use the whole thing.
Okay.
So, yeah, I've got a nice little, oops, you can't see because the camera's got a nice little bunch of basil.
Oh, gorgeous.
Well.
How much are you going to use?
Probably about 2, well, it depends on how big they are. I forgot they're still tied together. At least this much.
Okay. Wow.
I like to use a lot.
That gives me a
really,
sense of what to do.
And last night when I made those green beans, the recipe said to use, what did it say? It said to use cilantro. And I'm like, I don't want to use cilantro on green beans. I want to use my basil. So that's what I did. You know, now that I've got this mixed up, I really don't want to lose the color of this
Basil.
It's so pretty.
It is pretty.
If I put this in there, it's going to turn it all red. So I'm going to change. I'm changing gears.
Switching gears.
Yeah. I'll save this for something else. There's nothing wrong with it. I'll put it in a jar and put it in the refrigerator. And I'm just going to add some water to this to give it some liquid, because you want your pasta sauce to have some kind of liquid to cling to your pasta.
Right.
But before I do that, I'm going to put a little bit of salt, and I don't usually.
Now I think I need to see your pan. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't have much salt here. You can always add it later. Maybe I'll put a little bit more. You can always add more later. You can't take it away. So
Right.
I tend to be light with the salt. And typically that's all that it needs. My husband likes it a little more salty, so I just tell him to add salt. Or we might put Kalamata olives in it. That will add some salt as well.
Right.
Okay, so I've got about this much pepper. I'm going to put that in and stir it. The reason I like to add the seasonings before I put the liquid is that it has a chance to get in all the vegetables before putting the liquid. So, you know, some people like to add their salt in layers. Like you salt everything. I don't even salt the pasta water. I don't want my pasta to taste salty. I know it's supposed to do that, but I don't do it. Anyway, so the basil. So I'm just gonna, let me do this again. Did you have any questions about anything, Linda?
I do. Like, I'm noticing your proportion of tomatoes to the vegetables is pretty sparse. I'm like, wait, where's the tomato sauce? So I'm curious, like I'm making quite a few tomatoes in mine, mostly because I have to use it up. But also because I I don't know. I just have this notion that there should be more tomatoes in it.
Yeah, well, that was my reasoning for wanting to use this tomato paste, the diluted tomato paste, but I didn't want it to change the color. Using this is going to change the color. If I had more tomatoes to add to it, it wouldn't change the color. It would still be red.
You want to see mine?
Red and yellow.
Here's my
wow. That looks great. I love it.
So now
I have a lot of sauce.
I'm going to have a lot of sauce, but like,
another thing you can do if you wanted it more saucy and less vegetable is you can puree it. If you've got if you have a hand blender, a stick blender.
Yeah, I don't.
You could just puree, or you could take some of it out and put it in a blender and process that, and then put it back in. So you're not doing the whole thing, just part of it. And that would give you, it would be more saucy if that's what you want. Or if you want to just try it this way, then.
I want to just try it this way.
Yeah, you can always, the next time you have it, you can puree some if you want to do that. Another thing you could do, this is my mind thinking, if you've got a lot of sauce and you don't want to have spaghetti like 5 times, you could use some of it and make lasagna.
Oh, right.
So
that's creative.
And now I'm going to add the water here. If I had vegetable stock, I would add that instead because it would give it a little more flavor.
Oh, I have vegetable stock. Woohoo!
Yeah. But your tomatoes should, as juicy as they should give you some decent sauce.
Oh, right.
So I wouldn't add the vegetable stock until you see how much
they're rendering quite a bit of liquid.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder if I need some tomato sauce to thicken it a bit, or tomato paste, but.
Yeah, so I'm going to just turn the heat up a little bit on this because, I can't see what I'm doing. Oh, my camera just fell off. Don't want it to fall in the skillet while it's cooking. So I just poured some water in here, and I want to kind of bring it to a boil. And I don't want it to cook out or cook down, but I want to cook a little bit of it out. And that is going to thicken and not richen. That's not a word. It's going to thicken the sauce a little bit and make it a little bit richer because it's going to get all the flavor of the vegetables in with the water. If I just left it like this, it would just taste like water with vegetables in it. But I want it to cook down a little bit, and then towards the end, I'm going to throw in the basil. I
was just thinking the same thing. I'm like,
yeah, I don't want to put the basil too early because basil cooked is great. There's a dish from Chile that you cook beans with basil, and it's actually amazing. But the basil doesn't stay pretty and green.
Right.
But it flavors the beans, and it's just talking about that.
So incorporate it at the last minute sort of thing. Got it.
Talking about that bean dish makes me want to have that bean dish.
It makes me want to have this with beans. I'll be honest. I'm like, you can have beans instead of actually. I do have a chickpea.
Yeah,
chickpea and lentil pasta, but I'm kind of not in the mood for it, interestingly.
Well, I think this would be really good. This actually would be a really good sauce to put cooked lentils in. But I was thinking that chickpeas would be nice.
Just open a can of chickpeas?
Yeah, put a can of chickpeas. If you don't want to throw it in the sauce, you could just you could take some of the sauce and do it. I don't know if you want to commit your whole pan of sauce.
I think you're right. I think we want to separate it a bit.
Yeah, because if once you put the chickpeas in there, they're in there. So you might want to just take some of the sauce out. Otherwise, you'll be picking chickpeas one by one.
Got it.
I guess chickpeas in lasagna would be really tasty. Something else you could use it. You can mix it with rice, and because you had several bell peppers, didn't you?
No, this time I don't.
Oh, okay. I thought I saw some bell peppers.
Yeah, I had tomatoes.
Okay. So you could mix this with rice or quinoa or any other kind of grain, and put it in bell peppers, or you could stuff zucchini, make zucchini boats with this. Just lots of different things you could do with this sauce.
There's lots of liquid in my pan.
Okay, I would let it cook for maybe 5 more minutes.
Would you turn it down below medium or?
Turn it up so that it's bubbly.
Yeah, it's bubbly.
And it'll cook down before you know it, because I've had where I've added a lot of liquid and I think, oh, that's a lot, and I leave it, and then I come back and I'm like, what happened to all the liquid?
Interesting.
So I think I'm actually going to stop mine because I don't want it to cook down anymore, but I do want to taste it. So see if I need more salt. Get a spoon here. There.
Wow, there's kind of nothing like cooking with fresh tomatoes, is there?
Oh, I know. I love it.
This is not canned tomato sauce pasta. This is like amazing.
That tastes so good.
Yeah.
Vegetables caramelized a little bit.
Ooh.
When I guess I had the burner up too much. So some of the onion and some of the zucchini was a little caramelized. So that flavor in this sauce is amazing.
Wow, I love that. I'd like to do that next time. See, these
yeah,
little accidents, right?
When things are caramelized, you don't need to salt them, in my opinion, because it's a flavor.
Mm-hmm.
It is nice to your palate, and you don't need the salt. Okay, I'm gonna put the basil in, and I'll probably, before we eat, I'll probably put a little bit more basil in, or just serve it on top.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing too. I'm putting some in, incorporating some, and then with the intention to put some on top.
Yeah.
So some flavor gets infused into the pasta sauce, tomato sauce. Only a pasta sauce if we're putting it on pasta. We're not, right?
Yeah, it's a tomato sauce. But sometimes when you say tomato sauce, people just imagine tomato sauce.
Yeah.
So this is a fresh tomato sauce.
Yes.
All right. Get all of that off of the spoon. And here we go.
How beautiful.
All right. So that's it.
That's beautiful, Julie.
Yeah. Is your pan too heavy to bring over?
Nope, not at all.
I'd love to
So
see
I put in some basil.
Oh yeah, that's really nice. That's nice.
I should actually tilt my camera just a bit so you can see it even more.
Yeah, you
Hold
don't
on.
want to tilt. You don't want to tilt the pan.
I know. What am I thinking? Let the camera do the work. Here it is.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's really pretty.
Mm-hmm. So it's got a little ways to cook down. So I guess I am going to need to do it because I had a lot of tomatoes with a lot of juice. That's the learning here, right? But we don't know that until we do it.
I would do it for at least 5 minutes. I mean, you decide when it's ready. I'm going to take it off of here because I keep looking at the camera and I'm not there. So.
Oh, fun. How fun, Julie.
Right. Oh, now I have to move my hat because you can't see my hat. My
We did
hat
it.
had gone down. I was like, can't see. Yeah.
We did it.
So, you know, don't feel like you want to cook out too much of that liquid.
Okay.
Because you're probably imagining a thick pasta sauce.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm imagining. I think you're right.
So, I mean, you do want to cook some of it down, but maybe leave a little bit more than what you think it should be.
I think you're right. I will turn it off soon, and it'll probably thicken as it stands here, right?
Yeah, it will. And when you brought it over to the camera, I was also imagining it as part of a soup.
Oh, surely, yeah.
So
it actually kind of looks like a soup, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you did have a lot of tomatoes.
It's quite lovely. I needed to use them though, and that was the thing we wanted to say today too, was that I got all these tomatoes and I left them on my counter because I intended to eat them or something. I didn't know what I was doing. And then they started to get soft and they started to have some liquid run out of them. I'm like, uh-oh. And then another day went by, and I was like, these have to go in the refrigerator. So pay attention to your tomato storage.
Yeah. We have I'll show you. This is what I had. I mean, I actually do have some tomatoes. I have these tomatoes. But
Beautiful.
Right out in the middle. Oh, that one right there is getting a little bit soft. So I might eat that one. So we're looking at, there's another one.
There's another one. Gotta use them.
These cherry tomatoes hide. If they're on the bottom layer, you can't really see them. My husband he's like the vegetable and the vegetables that are out. Tomatoes are really the only vegetable, and actually tomatoes are fruits. But we don't put any of our fruits in the refrigerator unless they are need to be eaten soon because they're getting really soft. So he's the harvester. He goes and he looks at all the fruits every day. These oranges are getting a little bit, we need to put them, so he'll put the ones that need to be used next in the refrigerator. And,
that's awesome.
And he's been making fruit salads like every 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
So we're using all the ones he sticks in the refrigerator. Anyway, I really don't recommend, unless you need to, refrigerating your tomatoes. But when they get soft, definitely. I mean, soft is okay, but when they get they look like they're turning bad, then you put them in, definitely. Yeah. So how do you feel?
This is fun.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you, Julie.
Yeah. And we'll have to do this again real soon.
I will look forward to it. On Thursday, I get a new box. I still have things in the drawer to eat, but today I knocked out a huge zucchini and now a huge yellow squash, so there's a little bit more room now.
Yeah. I actually was going to put some. I thought there was a vegetable under there, but it was just nothing. Anyway, I was going to use some eggplant in here, but I didn't realize the eggplant was on the bottom in the drawer, and it's starting to get a little soft. So I didn't put them in here, but I'm probably going to roast them tonight.
Oh, that'll be nice.
Another way to make vegetables better when they're starting to get soft, so you roast them and it brings them back to life. So
fabulous.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you for all the great tips. Yeah. You've made it fun, and I just feel like I was liberated. I wasn't even thinking about, did I chop this right? I mean, I was at first, but then it's like, heck with it, I'm just going to chop.
Do it. Yeah, don't worry
Find out how it happens.
Yeah. All right. Well, until next time.
Until next time.
Yeah, we are going to go and start that cooking revolution.
That's right. Well, we've started it. You're going to keep
Yeah.
it going. You're going to grow it.
So, all right.
Thank
So
you.
until then, see you
Take
next
good care.
time.
Bye.
There. Oh, yeah.